Hi everyone and welcome back to Nick's Diecast. For today's video, I'll be showing you and reviewing this 1/18 scale 1955 Volkswagen Beetle made by Bburago. So I found this model at Sam's Club for $15, and this blue color you see here is actually a Sam's Club exclusive color for this summer and this year. But you can find it in other colors too. It also comes in a kind of a cream color with the same interior, and the wheels are actually cream too, like around the white wall. And also it comes in like kind of like a robin's egg blue. I don't know if robin's egg blue has matching blue wheels or if it has black wheels like this. And Bburago's been making this model for quite some time, so it's been offered in many other colors as well. But the two current ones that are available, aside from this exclusive blue, are the cream and the robin's egg blue. So I'd say this is a pretty good model in terms of its detail and everything. Aside from finding it at Sam's Club and Costco, you can also find it online, like on Amazon and whatnot. Usually on there, it's around like $30 to $40, maybe a little bit higher. But I'd say even for that price, the details make it well worth the purchase. Granted, there are a few flaws here and there, which I'll get into. All right, in terms of detail, we'll start up here with the front of the model. I'd say Bburago did a nice job with these headlights. They have kind of like a chrome surround on them, and they're actually not loose or anything. They look like they might be loose. I kind of assumed that they would be after I got the model, but they're nice and tight. They do have pegs in the centers, but that's where the bulb would be on the real headlights, so that's not a big deal. And lenses actually do have a texture on them, which is nice to see. The bumpers are done in chrome plastic and have kind of you can see they're like a rough texture. I'm not really sure why that is, but I think the real car might have that too. But they're very sturdy. I thought they would also be loose, but these are very sturdy. It's only moving now because I'm pushing on it. Also in terms of chrome pieces, these two little vents underneath the headlights, they're done in separate chrome pieces and they look good. And also you can see on the hood, it has that trademark kind of chrome trim piece on there with the hood latch down there. And this VW badge up here is actually done on a separate plastic piece, which I think is very, very nice. And the wipers are a bit too small, but other than that, they do look nice. The windshield actually has a chrome surround, so instead of just painting it silver, they actually do a separate chrome piece, and you can see that also on the back windows here and on the rear window. Instead of just painting it chrome, they actually go the extra mile doing a separate piece. The paint quality on this model, I would say, is very good. There is a small imperfection on my model up here, but that's not going to come on your model. I bet mine's just like a factory defect. But this blue really looks awesome on this car, and I think the black and I think the white walls and the beige interior like really set it off too. I think it also came in purple at one point, like in a Spectra Flame kind of purple, like this one. This color like really reminds me of those older like Hot Wheels cars when they used to come in like the Spectra Flame paint. So that's really, really cool. On the side here, we'll take a look at the wheels. Just your basic Volkswagen wheels here. They have like the center kind of dog dish hub with the Volkswagen logo etched in the center, so they look very good. And the white walls look nice too. You do also get full steering, of course, but there is no suspension because Bburago, they don't usually do suspension on their models for some reason. These running boards look great as well. They're done in separate plastic pieces, and they even have a little kind of silver paint on the side there to simulate like the silver trim. And the door handles also look great, and they're not loose, which is nice. Same thing with this mirror here too. It's not loose or anything. They might have done a little bit of overchrome on it, but I think it looks good. On the back here, you'll see that these taillights are nicely done. They have kind of they actually have a metal surround on them, like where the blue is. And the little lenses, the little red lenses, they don't have any pegs in them. I guess because they're so small, they don't need to put in the pegs. But they're actually separate plastic pieces. They aren't just, painted on or like, sprayed with like red chrome or anything like that. So that looks good. So you get a nice license plate back here, and also this little hood latch down there. The exhaust pipes could use a bit more detailing, but at least they're not loose or anything. There's actually a huge panel gap between this engine cover and the rest of the car, so that's a bit annoying, and it's probably going to be a lot more like noticeable on the cream version, but on this darker colored blue version, you can't really see it too much, especially if you see it from a distance, or look at it from a distance. All right, in terms of opening features, we'll start up here with this luggage compartment. And the nice thing about this is that it actually locks and latches shut. So if you turn this model upside down, the hood will not fall open because it actually clicks shut or clicks in place. So I'm going to pull that open right now. And then if you take a look inside, you'll see that it comes with a full spare tire. The spare tire is actually removable. You can take it out and it does move and everything. I'm not going to take it out right now because it's a bit of a hassle, but they didn't, they didn't like, you know, cheat and do like a fake spare tire, or it's just like either like a plastic piece or sound like a full tire, or it's like completely like hollowed out on the inside. This is a full tire and a full wheel. So that's really cool to see that. If you wanted to, you could probably take it out and like display it like next to the car and whatnot. They do a good job with the fuel tank in here, although I don't think it should be painted blue like the rest of the inside of this. I've seen pictures of the fuel tank on the real Beetle, and it's usually painted black or gray. But that's not a big deal because it is metal on this model. And they do a nice job with this filler cap up here. It's actually a separate piece and has the VW logo on there. And this model was a bit heavy, and that's because there's all this metal on the inside of the front here. They could have done a better job with fully painting. Like there's some, you know, underspray here and there. But at least they do a nice job with like having the actual spare tire and that filler cap in there. And the underside of the hood is actually fully painted, which is nice. And you can actually hear it click shut too. So that's cool. Also, you can tell it's a 1955 or newer Beetle because the older Beetles have a split window in the back, but after 1953, they put in like a full rear window. And there were many changes throughout the Beetle's lifespan. The original one was actually produced in Germany until 1970, and then production actually moved to South America, where it was produced from 1970 until 2003. But here in the U.S., we actually got this Beetle. So this 1955 Beetle, it was actually sold here in the U.S., and I think Beetles were sold here until 1978. And then the Volkswagen new Beetle came out in 1998, so then we got that, and then we had the most recent Beetle, which was produced from 2012 to 2019. A little, you know, just history there for you. All right, now we can move on to the engine back here. The engine cover is a bit loose, and it's almost like a loose tooth. So I'm not going to open that too much because I don't want to, you know, make it fall off or anything like that. I don't think it will fall off. It just feels like kind of flimsy. But a very nice job on this engine here. I guess there is a little bit too much chrome, but at least there's many separate pieces in here. You can see that there's actually a black pulley up front here, and there's one actually on the side. There is some red back there. I don't know what part of the engine that is, but for a Bburago engine, it's not a bad job at all. Especially because this model came out in like the 90s or whatever, so detail back then wasn't, you know, too great. But if you wanted to, you could maybe add some, you know, like paint here and there, paint some parts black. I say for the price that this comes, either like the Sam's Club price or the regular price, I think they did a good job with this engine here. And it's not loose or anything. Sometimes Bburagos have like loose engines, but this one's very tight. Now the odd thing is that this one door is actually tighter than the other door. This opens on dog-leg hinges, so the passenger door is nice and tight, but the driver door is a bit loose, but it's not that big of a deal. That's probably just another, you know, like factory defect, so that probably won't come on your model. Very basic door panels there. They do have a nice texture to them though, and they do actually put in like the separate like window winder and handle, as you can see right there. And this pattern actually continues onto the seats, which are also very well done. They have like kind of that rough like fabric pattern to them. They are a bit too shiny, which is actually, their 1957 Corvette actually has that same issue where they do the seats like way too shiny, but at least the shape and texture and everything, they really do like nail that. The dashboard looks awesome because it actually matches the outside of the car, which is how most of the older Volkswagen Beetles were. You can actually get the dashboard to match the outside of your car. It's not metal, but it looks like it's metal, which I think is very cool. There's not too much to really see on there, but the very few buttons that are there, they're actually separate pieces. You can see there's 4 lower buttons underneath that big vent there. I don't know if that's like a vent or like a radio speaker, but they do a nice job of it. It might be a bit too much chrome there, but I think they do a good job with it. And you can see the button for the glove box is actually a separate piece too. They also put in the handbrake in between the 2 seats there and the shifter. I don't think they should be fully chromed out like they have it here, but at least they're the right shape and size and everything. This model actually does have a full headliner, as you can see here. Bburago usually doesn't do that. It actually goes all the way back to the back window and seat area, which is very cool. It has the same texture as the seats. And also, they actually include a couple of suitcases right behind the rear seat there. So that's a nice extra detail there. They don't come out or anything, but it's a nice little kind of Easter egg, I guess, that comes with the car. They do a nice job with the steering wheel. There's not too much to see on the real steering wheel anyway, but they do have like the little badge in the center and the little louvers going down like the spokes there. The pedals are nicely done as well. They're completely chrome. I don't know if they should be completely chrome, but at least they look good. It looks good with like the rest of the interior kind of having like, you know, the chrome, like metal looking pedals and whatnot. Close it up. Yeah, the driver door doesn't really close all the way. You gotta kind of, you know, force it shut sometimes. On the undercarriage, not really too much to see. There's the blue area where the spare tire is. And that's actually made of metal, so that's cool to see. The engine detailing, you can actually see a lot better, or not a lot better, but just as much underneath as you can see when you open up the engine cover. There's probably a bit too much chrome going on down there, but at least it's not all completely black like the rest of the bottom is. So that's a nice little detail there. Overall, if you're a fan of the Volkswagen Beetle, I'd say definitely get this. It's probably one of the best budget Beetle models out there. I know Welly makes their own version of the Volkswagen Beetle. I think theirs is a newer year than this. I think theirs is like a 1960-something Beetle, and it has like a canvas cover on the roof and everything. But it is a little bit more expensive than this one and kind of harder to come by. So in terms of, you know, availability and everything, I'd say that the Bburago kind of wins in that sense. But overall, if you can find it in this Sam's Club color, like if you belong to Sam's Club, this is a really, really cool like shade of blue and everything. But if you find it elsewhere, like online, like on eBay or Amazon or even like Costco and whatnot, then I'd say definitely get it. It goes good with any, you know, car collection. And it's one of the most iconic cars ever made. So there's that too. All right, as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope that this was an informative look at this model. And be sure to comment down below with your thoughts on the model. And also be sure to give the video a like, and also be sure to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, guys.